No man is born cold, but life has a way of burning the softness out of you. The betrayal, the heartbreak, the silence after giving your all, and still being told it wasn't enough. You don't just wake up one day and become emotionless. It happens slowly, painfully through lessons you never asked for. And the worst part, you become stronger, but not without losing a part of yourself. So how does a man become cold-hearted and strong? Let me show you. Because if you've ever felt broken, this video will feel like truth. The beginning, a man with a big heart. Every strong man you see today once started with a soft heart. He loved deeply. He believed in loyalty. He gave without keeping score. But the world doesn't reward soft men. It punishes them. And that's where it begins. He gets taken for granted, used, lied to, maybe even left at his lowest without a single explanation. And at first, he questions himself. Maybe I wasn't good enough. Maybe if I gave more. Maybe I need to fix myself. But that's the trap, because no one tells him. The problem wasn't how much he loved. It was who he gave that love to. The shift, when the light starts to dim. There comes a moment in every man's life where he stops chasing, stops explaining, stops expecting people to match his loyalty. That's not bitterness, that's survival. Because you can only get burned so many times before the fire inside turns cold. He starts setting. Boundaries, stops answering late night calls. Cuts off people who only come around when they need something. The people around him start calling him cold. But they never saw what built this armor. They didn't witness the nights he broke down. They didn't hear the prayers he whispered, begging for clarity. They didn't sit with him while he healed, alone. So they don't get to judge who he became. The rise, pain becomes power. The real transformation doesn't come from revenge. It comes from rebuilding yourself, stronger, smarter, and emotionally bulletproof. He starts hitting the gym, not to impress, but to discipline. He learns to say no, not out of spite, but out of self-respect. He spends more time alone, not because he hates people, but because he finally values peace over chaos. And here's the truth. The man who used to fear being alone now walks like a ghost through a noisy world, unbothered, unreadable, and focused. Not because he lost his heart, but because he learned not to hand it to people who don't know what to do with it. That's what strength looks like when it's forged in pain. What being cold really means. Cold doesn't mean heartless. Cold means calculated. Cold means you don't flinch when people test you. Cold means you've been through enough to spot lies before they're spoken. You don't argue. You observe. You don't chase. You choose. You don't react. You respond with silence or action. That's the new language of a man who's been through hell and built his home in the fire. And guess what? People feel it. They treat you differently. They respect your time. They stop playing games because they know you don't play them back. That's not weakness. That's the highest form of strength a man can develop. Self-control and emotional clarity. The payoff, becoming unshakable. The man who's been broken and rebuilt doesn't fear loss anymore. He knows he can survive anything. He doesn't need validation. He doesn't need applause. He doesn't even need to be understood because he understands himself. And in a world full of fake smiles, loud egos, and shallow noise, he stands out not because he tries to, but because his silence is louder than most men's words. That's what real strength looks like. Not the guy screaming to prove he's alpha, but the one who moves in silence and makes everyone else adjust. If you're a man watching this and you felt that shift, that quiet, lonely transformation, you're not broken, brother. You're evolving. You're becoming the man who no longer begs because he knows he brings value. The man who doesn't explain because he embodies. The man who doesn't seek love because he is love refined by fire. This world will try to convince you that your coldness is a flaw, but maybe, just maybe, it's your greatest strength. Because from now on, you're not easy to fool, not easy to shake, not easy to keep. You've become the kind of man who commands respect, not by force, but by presence.